Hello and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. So today I want to talk about the new leadership skill that nobody trained us for, but it's absolutely essential. So I think a lot of people think, oh, well, the most important leadership skill is communication, strategy, or emotional intelligence. But I think that it's really this thing that nobody's ever trained us for. And by way of explanation, I think when I started my career, leaders were expected to know the answers. The person at the top was supposed to know the plan, provide certainty, and point the way forward. And they knew how to do everything. But today's leaders are operating in a very different world. Technology evolving at breakneck speed, markets are shifting, organizations are restructuring, roles are changing. The whole thing, often there just isn't a clear roadmap anymore, which means that the leadership skill I see becoming more and more important is this. It's the ability to navigate uncertainty. So whether that's for yourself as a leader or whether it's for your team or your organization. So what does that mean? It means that you are able to navigate not having all the answers. It means that you don't pretend that everything is under control. It's sort of staying calm enough to think clearly, even when the path ahead isn't obvious. It's being able to make decisions with incomplete information or not letting that cause a blockage or like a bottleneck. It's adapting when circumstances change, being courageous enough to kind of like change course. It's about reassuring others without making promises you can't keep. Holding your nerve when everyone around you wants certainty that simply just doesn't exist. So I think the leaders who will thrive won't be the ones with all the answers, because that's impossible these days. They'll be the ones that can help others move forward despite the uncertainty. Because I guess in today's world, well, certainty doesn't exist, does it? But confidence, courage, and adaptability are, I think, leadership essentials these days. So, I just wanted to share some kind of practical tips on how to navigate uncertainty as a leader, either for yourself or if you're leading a group of people. Number one is to focus on the next decision, not the whole journey. Yes, I am a fan of beginning with the end in mind and always keeping that in mind. But often, when uncertainty is high, leaders try to predict everything that might happen. So instead, ask yourself, what is the next best decision we can make with the information that we have today? Being prepared that tomorrow may be a whole different kettle of fish. You don't need a perfect 5-year plan. I mean, I don't think there ever was a 5-year plan that went according to plan completely. You need a sensible next step. So teams, I think, gain confidence when they see progress, even if the final destination isn't fully mapped. Which brings me to point number 2, which is to share what you know, what you don't know, and what's next. So one of the biggest mistakes I think leaders make is staying silent until they have all the answers. And I know in certain situations, there are sometimes reasons where you cannot reveal everything. But really, where possible, I think the framework to use is here's what we know, here's what we don't know yet, and here's what we're doing next. Even if that kind of briefing is a rolling briefing. So I think people can cope with uncertainty far better than they can cope with ambiguity and silence. Yeah, when things are silent, when people are silent, then people's minds go haywire. So trust, I think, that trust that comes with really sharing what you know, what you don't know, and what's next. It builds trust, and it just really helps if leaders are honest and transparent in a world of uncertainty. So number 3 is to increase communication rather than retreating. So it kind of follows on from that Don't be silent. Under pressure, I think many leaders disappear into meetings, disappear into whatever, spreadsheets, problem solving mode, or they might like lock themselves away, and just try to get on with it. But I do think that your team may interpret that as danger. So instead, I think it's a good idea to give more updates, not fewer, hold regular check-ins, refer back to point number 2, and also repeat key messages consistently. What are we here for? What are we doing? What is that end in mind, even though the thing between it may change? So I do think in uncertain times, people don't need a perfect leader. Very difficult to be a perfect leader in uncertain times, but they do need a visible one. So when the future isn't clear or it feels unclear, remember this: your job as a leader isn't to predict the future, it's to help people move forward despite not knowing exactly what the future holds. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. And navigating uncertainty, it's just that ability to navigate uncertainty is a skill that we all really, really need. Yeah. Okay, take care. See you next time. Bye.